the dawn of the time when guys were supposed to be in surgery watching the child being born. But I was on the plane straight back.
For decades, Robin Gibb stood under the bright lights of global fame, his voice a beacon for millions. Yet behind the iconic smile and unforgettable tunes, a veil of mystery shrouded his life. Now, at 61, he has finally peeled back the curtain, and the truth is more astonishing than we could have anticipated. From familial friction to sacrifices hidden in plain sight, we ask, what compelled Robin to finally break his silence after all these years? The fame that took its toll. Robin Gibb handled fame like a virtuoso, but it has two sides. He reached unthinkable heights as a member of the Bee Gees, creating songs that appealed to all age groups. However, Robin discreetly carried the burden of fame's darker side while the rest of the world reveled in his talent. Imagine the constant pressure to stay at the top, the never-ending need for fresh hits, and the exhausting grind of tours. At one point, Robin compared his early career to an exciting race without a finish line. Every great achievement had a high cost. Not only was "Staying Alive" a hit song, but it also became his motto for surviving in the competitive entertainment industry. The difficulty of working with family was at the center of Robin's trip. The Bee Gees were brothers, not just a band. Brotherhood was accompanied with rivalry. Robin occasionally felt overshadowed and found it difficult to establish his individuality in the trio, while Barry and Maurice frequently took center stage. He once said, "People forget I'm not just a Bee Gee, I'm Robin," which betrayed a strong desire to be recognized as a unique person. But familial ties were not restored by success. It stretched it thin, if anything. Behind the scenes, the brothers' creative disagreements sometimes resulted in furious confrontations. The tension that persisted throughout their career is revealed by Robin's open acknowledgement that these incidents left them with permanent scars. In addition to the family dynamic, Robin made incredible sacrifices for his job. While the world witnessed a luxurious existence, Robin silently suffered the consequences for his health and relationships. Later on, he acknowledged that the never-ending cycle of recording and touring cost him valuable time with his loved ones. He admitted, "I felt like I was losing pieces of myself along the way, even though I was living the dream." There was also the physical cost. His health started to deteriorate as a result of long hours, restless nights, and the pressure to perform at his best. Despite his polished public persona, Robin battled near-collapse episodes behind the scenes and chose to hide his weaknesses from followers. What then did Robin conceal beneath his recognizable smile? The response is a combination of dread and pride. Although he was proud of the legacy he had created, he was afraid that disclosing his difficulties might damage the Bee Gees' reputation among perfectionists. But eventually, the pressure to maintain appearances became too much to handle. When Robin looked back on his life's stresses in his older years, he acknowledged, "There comes a point when you can't carry it all alone anymore." This insight ultimately led him to finally talk about the difficulties he had long concealed. Each note of Robin Gibb's life's symphony of victories and setbacks deepened his legacy. Even after decades of silence, his courage to face his truth is a potent reminder that even legends have burdens. His disclosures made him more relatable and demonstrated to the world that every star has a backstory of tenacity and selflessness. However, this is only the first of Robin's revelations. Was blood really thicker than water? Family members are the people who know you the best, and sometimes it can be an issue. The relationship between the Gibb brothers was as famous as the music they produced. However, years of seething animosity were hidden beneath the sparkling success and harmonized vocals. A unique behind-the-scenes look at one of the most well-known sibling acts in music is provided by Robin Gibb's admission of these familial dynamics. Although the Bee Gees were praised for their harmony, Robin acknowledged that their intimacy frequently led to rivalry. He once alluded to the creative tug-of-war that characterized a large portion of their career by saying, "We were brothers first, but rivals a close second." This competition became intense at times. One of the most obvious indications of the group's dissension was Robin's exit in 1969. Even when he came back later, there was no denying the rift in their relationship. Fans frequently questioned whether the tension was overstated or worse than they admitted. According to Robin's latest statements, the latter was more accurate. He spoke of intense arguments that caused emotional scars that took years to repair. He explained, "The love never left, but sometimes we were too stubborn to show it." The brothers had a remarkable capacity to patch things up, despite their differences. Even in the face of the most severe arguments, music served as a unifying factor between them. According to Robin, their mutual passion for producing something lovely always triumphed over their individual complaints. He summed up their dynamic by saying, "We loved harder, but we fought hard." However, the issue remains. Why did Robin put off talking about these conflicts for so long? Maybe it was loyalty, an unwritten family rule to keep their problems to themselves. Or perhaps they were afraid of damaging their supporters' perception of them as the ideal trio. Regardless of the cause, Robin's new candor seems like a means to honor their relationship's highs and lows and provide closure. The family's tragic losses brought the reconciliations into clearer perspective, which is a bittersweet fact. Robin and Barry became the only two surviving siblings after the deaths of their younger brothers, Andy Gibb in 1988 and Maurice in 2003. Deeper contemplation was prompted by these events, which served as sobering reminders of how fleeting life is. Robin's remarks reverberate with appreciation and remorse. He said, "I'm glad we always found our way back to each other, but we wasted too much time arguing." His admission demonstrates the messy, emotional, and ultimately irreplaceable nature of brother relationships. So did the Gibb brothers really have a stronger bond than blood? The music they produced together, a legacy that endures long after the rivalries have subsided, appears to hold the key to the solution. The mystery of Robin's health battles. Although Robin Gibb's voice was a gift to the world, there was a body behind it that was engaged in fights that few people were aware of. For many years, Robin concealed his health issues, preferring to concentrate on his music instead of his suffering. His recent disclosures provide insight into the toll these conflicts took on him and how they influenced his latter years. Although Robin's fight with colon cancer was well known, he hardly ever discussed the depth of his pain. After receiving a diagnosis in 2011, he handled the illness with his usual fortitude, even performing as long as his body permitted. He remarked, "Music kept me alive," explaining how singing became both his strength and his haven. However, Robin's health problems went much beyond his cancer diagnosis. He battled a number of ailments, including pneumonia, which almost killed him. He kept up a brave front the entire time, not allowing his illness to define him. This stoicism had a price, as his confession showed. He said, "I didn't want sympathy, but sometimes I felt so alone." Why open up now, then? A fresh viewpoint seems to be unlocked by Robin's condition. He became more reflective as he faced his mortality and realized how important it was to speak his truth. "I came to the realization that concealing my difficulties only made them worse," he said. His openness serves as a reminder that everyone faces difficulties in life, including famous people. Robin's struggles with his health also affected his relationships with his fans and family. He became more dependent on everyone around him as his condition deteriorated, drawing strength from their encouragement. His tenacity served as motivation for admirers. It was nothing short of heroic that he persisted in performing despite the odds being against him. Fans were left wondering about another aspect of his narrative, though. Were these facts revealed by his illness? It's difficult to say for sure, but it's obvious that Robin's health issues gave his life a sense of urgency. He became more introspective and open to answering the concerns that had plagued him for years. During his last years, Robin's admissions seemed like a gift, a means of establishing a stronger connection with his audience. They were expressions of thankfulness for the love and support that had gotten him through difficult times, not only confessions of suffering. Robin's unspoken battle against time demonstrated his resilience as a person and as an artist. His tale is a powerful reminder that showing vulnerability is a sign of great courage rather than weakness. However, there is still more to discover. How does Robin's legacy change in light of the additional discoveries he left behind? Like his music, the answers are still relevant long after his last curtain call. The heartbreaking muse behind his lyrics. As always, music has been a window into the soul, and Robin Gibb was no exception. In addition to topping the charts, the songs he co-wrote with the Bee Gees revealed tales, frequently his own. What realities, nevertheless, were concealed in the songs that moved us to tears, dance, and dream. Finally, at age 61, Robin shared the tragic inspirations for some of his most well-known songs. Robin experienced both heartbreaking lows and emotional highs, and his music mirrored these contrasts. Consider the eerie ballad "I Started a Joke," which has been analyzed by both critics and admirers. Robin acknowledged that it was quite personal, despite many speculating that it was a metaphor for sorrow or loneliness. He admitted, "It was a result of feeling misunderstood." Few artists have the power to turn suffering into beauty through the exquisite songs he wrote. How Deep Is Your Love, an anthem of connection and vulnerability, is another noteworthy song. Most people thought it was a simple love song, but Robin revealed that it was motivated by a desire for harmony in his family and personal connections. "Even though I felt broken on the inside, I wanted to write something that brought people together," he said. It wasn't all heartache, though. Resilience was expressed in songs like "Stayin' Alive," which captured the fortitude needed to face life's obstacles. "It's the anthem for every time I felt like giving up but didn't," Robin once jokingly said. Millions of people could relate to his music because of his talent for incorporating universal themes with personal challenges. The inspirations that influenced Robin's path, his brothers, his family, and even his fans, were behind these timeless tunes. He implied that the tunes we know by heart were frequently composed during times of introspection or alone when he observed, "Every song is a diary entry." He acknowledged that the intricacies of unconditional love served as the inspiration for "To Love Somebody," which was one of his most poignant revelations. Robin explained, "It's about wanting to give everything and wondering if it's enough, not about any one person." What did Robin ultimately reveal about the inspiration for his timeless hits is still a mystery. His admission was straightforward yet significant. He claimed that "Life was my muse. Every moment of doubt, every loss, every joy, it's all there in the music." Fans can better appreciate Robin's artistry because of his candor about his creative process. His songs were more than just successes. They were sincere declarations of a man who had strong emotions and didn't hesitate to express them. Great music transcends the personal and becomes global, as demonstrated by the fact that millions of people were moved by the lyrics, even if they may have come straight from his soul. Robin reminded us that the greatest creativity frequently emerges from the most trying times in life, when he shared the motivation for his lyrics. His music was a monument to the strength of vulnerability and the timeless beauty of the human spirit, not just a soundtrack for the disco period, the love he didn't know he had. Fame was a double-edged sword for Robin Gibb. On the one hand, it allowed him to showcase his artistic abilities to a global audience. However, he was frequently caught in a vicious circle of unrelenting expectations, making it feel like a prison. However, how did Robin truly feel about his popularity and fans? His final thoughts showed a guy humbled by the love he didn't always realize he had. Robin and his brothers enjoyed the admiration of millions of people during the Bee Gees' prime. They were accustomed to sold-out venues, screaming fans, and #1 albums. In those times, however, Robin acknowledged, he hardly paused to consider the scope of it all. "I didn't stop to appreciate what we had accomplished because I was so focused on what was next," he added. Over time, Robin's relationship with celebrity changed. In his early career, he acknowledged, he frequently viewed it as a burden. He said, "I really enjoyed the music, but sometimes the attention felt oppressive." His viewpoint drastically changed as he grew older and realized the deep effect his music had on his followers. Fans' testimonies that his songs got them through their darkest moments moved Robin. He received letters from all across the world, each one attesting to the impact his music had on people's lives. Robin remarked, "It's humble to think that something I wrote in a time of uncertainty or hope could mean so much to someone else." Robin eventually came to accept fame as a means of connecting with his audience, despite his early reservations about it. Throughout the years, he frequently thanked the supporters who had supported him and his siblings. As he put it, "They've been with us through everything, the highs, the lows, and everything in between." What unexpected remarks did Robin leave his admirers, though? He expressed regret and appreciation in a heartfelt goodbye note. He acknowledged, "If I could do it all over again, I'd spend more time connecting with the people who supported us. I wish I had realized how important their love was sooner." In addition to being a farewell, Robin's reflections celebrated the relationship between an artist and their audience. Fans' support was the lifeblood of what he and the Bee Gees accomplished, he told them, and it wasn't just background noise to his career. During his last years, Robin's gratitude for his supporters was more apparent than ever. Whether in sincere interviews or unexpected appearances, he always made an effort to express his gratitude for their steadfast support. His words and music both conveyed the same timeless message: what matters most is love and thankfulness. Even though Robin Gibb was a worldwide celebrity, his legacy is rooted in the sincere bond he had with his audience as well as his #1 hits. His narrative serves as a reminder that despite the passing of celebrity, fan love never dies, and that sometimes it takes a lifetime to fully comprehend the strength of that devotion. The mark of a Gibb. Robin Gibb was more than just a voice in the Bee Gees. He was a storyteller, a visionary, and an artist who left an indelible mark on the music world. Even now, years after his passing, his melodies echo across generations, a testament to his genius. But how has his late-life confession reshaped his legacy and the way we see him? When Robin revealed the truths behind his songs, struggles, and relationships, he did more than give fans a glimpse behind the curtain. He humanized himself, transforming from a distant superstar into a man of depth and vulnerability. It's not every day that an icon admits their regrets, fears, and moments of self-doubt. For Robin, this openness wasn't about seeking sympathy. It was about finally being seen for who he truly was. The Bee Gees were undeniably one of the most influential bands in music history, crafting hits that defined an era. But Robin's confession added a new dimension to their story. No longer were they just the kings of disco or the harmonizing brothers on our radios. They became symbols of perseverance, family bonds, and the complexity of success. Robin's words allowed us to appreciate not just the music, but the man behind it. His candid reflections on fame, family, and creativity have sparked a renewed interest in the Bee Gees' music. Younger generations are discovering their discography with fresh eyes, drawn in not just by the catchy rhythms, but by the emotional depth Robin's revelations have brought to their lyrics. Fans now listen to tracks like "To Love Somebody" or "I Started a Joke" with a deeper understanding of the heartache and triumphs that inspired them. Moreover, Robin's honesty has become a blueprint for other artists. In an industry that often glorifies perfection and hides vulnerability, his willingness to share his truth is a reminder that authenticity resonates far more than a polished facade. His legacy is not just in his songs, but in the courage he showed by telling his story. But perhaps the most significant impact of Robin's confession is the closure it brought, not just for him, but for his fans. For years, we speculated about the man behind the music, piecing together fragments of his life from interviews, performances, and rumors. His admission allowed us to finally connect the dots, creating a fuller picture of a man who was as flawed and fragile as any of us. And what about his family? Robin's revelations also shed light on the enduring love and tension that defined the Gibb brothers' relationship. They weren't just bandmates. They were brothers, bound by blood, ambition, and a shared dream. Robin's confession acknowledged the highs and lows of their journey, honoring the bond that made their music so powerful. So how has Robin's admission changed the way we see him forever? It's simple. We no longer see Robin Gibb as just a member of a legendary band. We see him as a trailblazer who turned his life into art, a man who faced his fears and shared his truth. His legacy isn't just in his music, it's in the lives he touched, the hearts he moved, and the honesty he inspired. Robin's confession was his final gift to the world, a reminder that even in our most vulnerable moments, we have the power to connect, inspire, and leave a legacy that outlives us. His story doesn't just end with a note of triumph, it resonates with the timeless chords of human experience, ensuring that the mark of a Gibb will never fade. Robin Gibb's confession wasn't just about setting the record straight. It was his way of connecting with his fans one last time. Through his music and his honesty, he gave us not only hits to sing along to, but truths to reflect on. In the end, it's the honesty behind the music that keeps us listening, reminding us that even legends are, at their core, beautifully human.